Hello, my name is Barb Suess. I'd like to show you today the first steps in making a Japanese Temari ball. There's so many different ways to make a ball. I think every person has their own favorite way, and I've certainly got mine. And I want to show you in the video today some of the favorite things that I like to do to make a ball, and then I'll tell you about some others as we go through. I'm starting by making a bell box for the center of the ball. I think adding the sound element to the ball is a really important step, and it can be a real fun one too. I'm going to make a little box out of cardstock. Here I'm using a file folder, but you can use an old greeting card, part of a cereal box, anything like that really. And Temari is traditionally a craft of recycling, so it's a good idea to recycle things that you have around your house to add to the center of your Temari. So I'm cutting out the little squares. You can make the bell box any size you like. If this is the first time you've done one, you might want to make it smaller than I'm making here. Sometimes if you're stitching on the ball and adding pins, if they run into the box or the bell box, it's going to make it a little bit difficult for you. Other things to use to contain your ingredients that are going to go in your bell box. Well, look around your house. A lot of times I'll use two soda bottle caps, tape them together. You might have other little small containers that you can use as well. One of my favorite ones to use is a very small styrofoam ball, which I saw in half and hollow out a little bit of the center with the knife and drop a jingle bell on the inside. But here I'm making one out of cardstock. It has a totally different sound, so experiment with different bell boxes to see what kind of sound you like. So here we're folding on the lines, making our little box. I'm going to get some tape out and tape around the sides. Now comes the fun part, deciding what you're going to put on the inside of your bell box. This is where it can get really interesting. You can see I've got a lot of cool stuff in my little box here. Got some jingle bells. They always make a really nice sound. There's some stones and some beads. There, I'm going to put a little shell inside. Sometimes I'll put in a coin, this year's coin for good luck. Think about the person you're giving the ball to, or some kind of sentiment you want to add to the ball. Give it a shake, see what it sounds like, see how you like the sound, and adjust it. One of my favorite things to do is to write a little wish or a prayer on a piece of paper and put it on the inside. Nobody will know it's there unless you tell them it's your special wish. Sometimes it might be, oh, I hope I finish this Temari ball, or get well soon, or just I love you. Anything like that is just a nice thing to put on the inside of your ball. So after you've got everything on the inside that you want, get some more tape and wrap it around the little box several times. We're going to be using rice hulls on the inside of our balls, so we don't want them to leak into the box. So be sure you cover the edges thoroughly. When you finish making your bell box, it's time to get out your bowl with your rice hulls in it. I like to put them inside of a stocking. I usually buy boxes of knee-high stockings. And you can use old socks. Some people like to use a thin plastic bag. Anything really that can contain the rice hulls. With the stocking, it's always a good idea to stretch it out a lot first. You can see how I'm doing that here. And the way I like to work is to use a measuring cup, scoop up some of the rice hulls, and drop them down into the stocking. It can be a challenge, and they can go flying everywhere, so be sure you have a pretty large bowl. You can get rice hulls from beer and wine home brewing stores if you can find one of those locally or order it online. It's used for a filtering medium when making those beer or wine. You can also get some off of my website. I order them right from the rice farms in Arkansas, and I get a 50-pound bale delivered to me here in North Carolina, and I do box up some to ship. Other things that you can use for the inside, the core of your tamari ball, some potpourri is really nice, gives it a great scent. Some people like to use dryer lint. It compacts well and makes a pretty firm ball. But some people will just cut up old socks or old fabric and use that on the inside of their tamari. Since it's a craft or recycling, use what you have around, definitely. Rice hulls are a traditional ingredient, and I really like the way that the ball feels. It has a nice weight to it, and it's fun to stitch on. So the next step is to wrap with a very soft, thick baby yarn. And you saw you don't have to sew the end of it closed or tie a big knot or anything. Just fold it over and wrap. We're going to be wrapping randomly, trying to keep the ball round all the time. So go across the center and then rotate the ball and wrap across the center again. Constantly molding it, trying to make it round. As far as tension goes here, it's pretty loose. We don't want to tighten up on it a lot because then it'll be really hard to stitch through. You want your needle to have a nice little bit of cushion down underneath the thread wrap, and that's why we're putting the yarn on the ball. So this is the first steps in making a tamari, and you want to try to make it round from the very beginning. A lot of times your pattern will give you a goal of a size of a ball you want to make. So when you feel like you're getting close to the size, take out your tape measure and measure it. See how big it is, and you might want to add a little more yarn to it or take a little bit off. Now this ball is just about done. I'm going to add a couple more wraps, and then all you have to do is check your measurement again and cut the yarn free from the skein. You don't have to end it off in any way. With your thread, you're just going to wrap right over the tail of that yarn. Now we're done.